And here we are, magical math minions. Time for number sense 16. Adding integers with different signs, okay? So playing off of what we did yesterday, it's very similar. Now, there's 2 steps. The first thing you need to do is, even though it's adding, this is going to freak you out. We're going to subtract. I know, right? Mind blown. Adding integers with different signs means you're really going to subtract. What you're subtracting is the bigger absolute value from the smaller absolute value. And again, remember, absolute value just means, this whole thing here means how many jumps from 0. Okay? So the further you are away from 0, the bigger the number is for this purpose. Once you subtract the bigger absolute value from the smaller absolute value, you use the sign of the bigger absolute value in the sum or the answer. All right? So, here's where we're going to make it work. Watch this. I'm looking at a +3 and a -7. I'm going to forget for right now which is positive and negative. Just not even going to pay attention. I'm going to look at the numbers 3 and 7. Which number is bigger, 3 or 7? Exactly, 7. So, I'm going to do 7 minus 3 because my step 1 is to subtract the bigger absolute. Okay, that doesn't work. Ha! Go back, erase, subtract the smaller, hello, from the bigger. That's what I meant to say. So, yeah, there we go. Miss Sissel's now perfect. Subtract the smaller number from the bigger number. So down here, we're subtracting 7 minus 3, which is going to equal 4, right? But now we go back and use the sign of the bigger number. Well, we said 7 was bigger, right? 7 is negative. Final answer is -4. Okay? All right, chill out. Let's move on. Let's try the next one. See what happens. We have -28 and a +13. So forgetting what is positive and negative, just look at the numbers, 28 and 13. What's the bigger number? 28. Now, I like to do number 2 before number 1. So I'm going to say, what's the sign on 28? We see that it's negative. So I'm going to put negative right there for my answer. Boom. I already know my answer is going to be negative. Now, 28 minus 13. 8 minus 3 is 5. And then 2 minus 1 is 1. There's my answer, -15. Let's try the third one. Here we go. So 15 and -14. Looking at the two numbers, which one's bigger? 15. It's positive, so my answer is going to be positive. I don't have to worry about it. So now I'm going to subtract the smaller from the bigger. When I subtract 14 from 15, all I have left over is 1. That's my answer. Last one using just numbers. 27 and -54. Looking at the two numbers, which is bigger, 27 or 54? Yep, 54. it's negative, so my final answer is negative. Now I'm just going to do 54 minus 27. I have to borrow to subtract that 7 from the 4, so we're going to make this a 4, and that becomes 14. 14 minus 7 is 7. 4 minus 2 is 2. So I put a 27 there. I already have my negative. There's my answer. Okay? Should be making a little bit of sense. So let's go on. We're going to look at it using counters like we did yesterday. So, and remember, as I said yesterday, for every positive and negative, you cross those out because they cancel. They make a 0. So if I have 5 positives, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I have 8 negatives, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I begin to cross cancel basically. A positive and a negative, gone. Positive and negative, gone. Positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. They're all gone. What do I have left? I have only negatives, which kind of fits with what we said. Which number's bigger, 8 or 5? 8 is bigger than 5, so since 8 is negative, we knew our answer had to be negative. This shows it. 1, 2, 3 negatives, so negative 3. Okay? Now let's try a number line version. Oops, slide that back down. So negative 8 and a positive 5. We just did that up here. But let's look at it on a number line. We know our answer is supposed to be negative 3 because we have that up there. So we're going to start at the negative 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's my negative 8. I'm going to put the numbers at the top because they're kind of squished with the next problem. Now, I'm adding a positive, and yesterday we found that if we add a positive, we're going to the right. So we're going to go to the right 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that would be negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Look, it works. And let's look at this one right here. 7 plus negative 8. So 7 plus negative 8 means we're going to start at the 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right there is my 7. And then because we're adding a negative, we're going to the left, to the left. So we're going to do that 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that is an answer of negative 1. And we knew it had to be negative because 7 and 8, 8 is bigger. And when you subtract 8 minus 7, you get 1. So there we go. Negative 1. Ready, set, flip it. Flip it over. Now we're going to do the guided practice. Now, for this, the pictures, all of the white ones, they're all positive, and the gray ones are negative. Okay? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positives. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 negatives. This is 1, 2, 3 positives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 negatives. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 positives. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negatives. Okay. If it helps, I'm going to do this so that you don't see a addition and a negative, because that kind of freaks some people out. So we'll do this. Here, let me erase that because it's kind of squished together. 4 plus negative 5. Okay, that's not right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's right. Negative 5. All right, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Positive 6. And a negative 3. And it says here, which model shows positive 6 plus a negative 3? Well, right there. D. Ta-da! All right. let's move on to look at it on a number line, and let's see which of these problems matches this number line problem. Well, let's look at it. Where are we starting? What number do we start on? Thank you, 6. So we know we've got a 6, and it's positive. So we got a positive 6. And now we're adding a positive or negative number. Are we going to the right? No. We're going to the left, so it's negative. And we're doing it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 6 plus negative 4. And is there a different way to write that? Yes. Yes, there is. 6 minus 4. Look at that. It works, right? So there we go. 2 more in the practice here, and then you move on to your assignment. Let's look at this. A team of 4 players competed in a golf contest. Now the names and the scores of the players on the team are shown here. And the team's score is the sum of the scores on the table. So the whole team's score. These are individual people's score, but if you add, sum all them, that gives you the team score. So what is the team's score? Well, we have 5 positive and a 4 positive and a negative 6 and a negative 4. So here's how I do it. There's a couple of, well, there's many ways you could do this, okay? So one way would be to take your 2 positives and add them together, and your 2 negatives and add them together, right? Because that's what we did yesterday, and that was super easy. So 5 and 4, both positive, that gives us a 9. And then negative 6 plus a negative 4 gives us a negative 10. And then all we have to do is say, okay, which number's bigger? 10 is bigger than 9, so we know our answer is negative, so it can't be A or D. And then 10 minus 9 is 1, boom, so that would be our answer. Easy enough, right? Okay. There are other ways to answer it, and if you have a different way that you'd like to share, you're welcome to raise your hand, and hopefully your teacher will pause, and you can then learn from your teammates, your classmates. Last one. The model below can be used to find the sum of negative 5 and positive 3. What is the sum of negative 5 and positive 3? So if you've got negative 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negatives, and positives, 1, 2, 3, well, those cancel. That cancels. And that cancels. What are we left with? Got 2 pieces, and they're both negative. Boom! That's our answer. Okay, so at this point, we're now going to move on to the math practice. You're going to complete those. Then, when you turn it in, you're going to pick up an index card, and you're going to write down the important things for this lesson and put it in your Things to Remember notebook. All right? Good luck. Let's go.